All I know is it's a car, and I kind of miss Suzuki. On today's episode of Watch JR Go, we're not reviewing an affordable car. I bought an affordable car. What is going on, guys? I am Watch JR Go, and behind me is my new to me $300 Suzuki SX-4. Now, this is one of the very last Suzukis to have been sold here in the United States. As you guys probably know, Suzuki is no longer around, at least on the car side. You can still buy their motorcycles here, but they just gave up on the US market. But here in Wichita, we were the #1 Suzuki dealer in the entire USA. There were more Suzukis here than you would have seen anywhere else. That's not exactly a crazy phenomenon. Seattle and Denver are the biggest Subaru markets by far. Those are the #1 Subaru dealerships in the country. And for some reason, Subaru here in Wichita marketed very, very well, and you saw Suzukis everywhere you went. Now, this is truly the affordable car you guys all say you want. And honestly, I can understand it. It's still pretty good for what it is. And obviously, I'm gonna take you on a full tour of this 2012 Suzuki SX-4 here in just a minute, and we'll cover all the oddities and functionalities. But I wanna talk about the price first. The base price on the 2012, I don't know, it seems like the internet can't really figure out a straight answer. The base price might have been $16,000, but the base price also might have been $13,497. So we aren't exactly sure how cheap these things were in 2012, but I want to note that the base price was probably $16,000, and that, think about this, was in 2012. That is 12 years ago, almost 13 years ago. And 13 years later, the cheapest car you can get is still $20,000. It seems like prices haven't gone up as much as everyone thinks. Now, I do want to note here in our affordable car series, the Mirage, this is probably better than the Mirage. Let's be honest. It doesn't have nearly as much tech, but from a car perspective, I think it's a much nicer car. But at the same time, this SX-4 though was very cheap. It was even abandoned, you can tell, look at the thing. I got it for just $300. And it might have some problems. And I also should note that if you're buying any of the affordable cars we've been talking about, like the Jetta or the Taos or the Nissan Versa, anything like that, I doubt you're gonna find those cars for $300 ever, even after 12 years. Anyway, let's get into this thing and talk about what affordable cars were 12 years ago and see what I bought with my $300. All I know is it's a car, and I kind of miss Suzuki. We're gonna make the tour of this thing quick because there's really not that much to talk about here, but it's also not that bad. So once we go around this thing, you guys might agree. Right out of the gate, it has roof rails. So you can put your Thule on top or your bike on top or whatever it is. Suzuki love to lean into their outdoor brand and their rally heritage. And they love to do things like put roof rails on their cars and be like, you could go off-roading. Also, SX-4s are all-wheel drive. The all-wheel drive might have been optional, but a majority of them were equipped with it, which also lets them lean into that rally heritage to be like, this'll go anywhere. And it might, who knows? Anyway, let's go around it real fast. This SX-4 is finished in white. It has black body molding all the way around. We always start with the key, so let's give it a quick mention. It does have keyless entry, which is pretty cool there. There's the original Suzuki remote and the original Suzuki key. I'm not really worried about anybody stealing this $300 car, so you can see the bidding. Anyway, you have to put the key in. It does not have keyless go. It does not have many features. It does have very lightweight doors. Look at that, they shut great. 12 years later, they shut great. Huge side mirrors, lots of visibility there. I will give them credit, body color painted mirrors right there. Wow, those move, I would say too easy. They almost look like they flop around at high speed. Now, here's where we get into the good stuff. The SX-4 is equipped with 4-wheel disc brakes. Check that out, BF Goodrich tires. Obviously, these are probably aftermarket, but this is a very low mile SX-4. 205/60/16s on real alloy wheels as well, and the wheels look good. Halogen headlights, old school, nothing modern or LED about this. You can see where the fog lights would be if it was equipped with fog lights. You can't see where a tow hook should go, so it could be a nightmare if you have to tow one of these things. I love screw-in tow hooks if you ever have to go recover a car. Shout out to the new car manufacturers that are making life easy for all of us, because nobody wants to be crawling around underneath a car, especially as cars get lower. Well, I mean, they're probably all sitting at the same height, but the nice cars are getting extremely low to the ground and there's nothing to hook to underneath. So those tow hooks are a lifesaver, and I can't believe this doesn't have it. I think the hood on this SX-4 is fully PPF'd. It's either fully PPF'd or something went wrong. So I can't quite tell what happened there. I don't see any edges, folded over corners or anything for PPF. But this is actually, it's not just white, it's a metallic or a pearl white. So really, this is pretty upmarket. You got to give it a lot more credit than I was expecting to give it here. Obviously, doesn't have the fog lights, like we said. More body cladding going all the way around. The roof rails still have their little factory warnings on there that would have been nice to have taken off years ago. Probably don't need those on the side of your car. There's only one keyhole. That's an interesting thing. It does have power locks because it has a remote. Somebody has bumped into this thing. I think this happened where the car was abandoned. They just kind of hit it in the rear there. It has a lift gate, which is pretty cool. Looks like the fuel filler is on the driver's side here. Rear wiper, third brake light right here. Cool little stubby floppy antenna right there. Those are always fun. At least it's not the super stubby ones that don't flop. And we got a little wiper sprayer action right there. Ooh, battery's too dead to open the hatch, but we'll get that open here in a minute. These BF Goodrich tires look like they're ready to do some serious off-roading, don't they? Like, that's an aggressive tread pattern for the street. You have to release the fuel door, so let's do that. Old school cable release in here. All right, what do we got going on here? A bunch of dirt and a very simple fuel filler cap. But unlike the Mitsubishi Mirage, they took time and painted the inside of that. Good on Suzuki. Now, if you've never seen an SX-4 before, check out the visibility. The entire cockpit is glass, all the way around. Glass, 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 glass. The blind spots do not exist. It feels like you're sitting up high and you can just see forever in this driver's seat. So honestly, it's a cool design. Probably something you'll never see again because of new DOT and NHTSA regulations, crumple zones, things like that. I don't think you're ever gonna find anything else where you get this much visibility, but we're gonna jump inside and I'm gonna show you just how good it is here in a second. Before we do that, let's take one quick look under the hood because we basically looked at everything else already. You got triple nozzles on that bad boy? Woo, triple nozzles. All right, somewhere in here, there we go. You guys can tell this thing has been sitting outside for a long time. Bugs are coming out of it. We got a big Suzuki cover on top of the engine there. Airbox is apparently missing something important. And there's a bird's nest or some kind of animal nest on top of the battery there. I do want to note that I just drove this into the shop, so bird's nest or not, I don't see any issues with the wiring harness. I really don't see any issues at all that are, you know, visual issues. Let's look under this cover here. You have to actually do some work to take that off? Is there a bolt? Interesting. Well, underneath this cover is a very simple, old school 2-liter 4-cylinder coil on plug, just the way I like it, with port injection, so very simple to work on. 4-cylinder engine. This simple old power plant cranks out 143 horsepower and 136 foot-pounds of torque, but all of that has to go to all 4 wheels, so, you know, it needs that much power to get around. Also, we should note, this one was sold as a 2013 model year, or it conforms to 2013 model year regulations, but data manufacturer is 812, so I would believe that the car is a 2013. This would have been the very last of the cars sold in the USA. The battery is completely dead in this thing, so even though I shut the hood, I had to open it right back up and put the jump pack in there. But does the remote work? Are you kidding me? That's pretty solid. That's pretty solid, Suzuki. Heading inside the SX-4, we actually have a 2-way speaker setup here in the door. We got a tweeter and a 6.5 down there. A reasonable door pocket that can't hold any modern water bottles because it's way too small. It does have auto windows on the driver's side, only auto down on the driver's side. Lock, unlock, window locks. Power mirrors. and they only work when the ignition's on. Anyway, simple painted plastic door handles. Really nothing else to talk about there other than the fact that there is nice soft foam right there for the armrest and where your arm sets. So that is the door. We have a whole lot of dummy switches here because this thing is not well equipped. I thought it might have been, but it's not. No power seats, and the steering wheel though. The steering wheel really shines. Take a look at all those steering wheel control buttons. We got mute mode to change the source on your radio there. Volume up, volume down, seek up, down. Cruise. Cruise was probably an option on this thing for sure. And then Excel, set, coast, cancel. Nothing else to it. A very simple wiper stock that probably works wonderfully. I really don't mind that wiper stock, and the rear wipers are on it. No auto lights or anything like that. Boring old lights, that's for sure. It just I mean, look, they're on and they're off. This might be the quickest affordable car tour ever. It's quicker than the Mitsubishi because it literally has nothing. I told you guys I'd show you the visibility. This thing might be dirty inside, but let's go on a quick look around the car. So this is out the driver window. You can see everything from the driver seating position. Again, you can see everything, even corners of the road you wouldn't normally be able to see. Even if this was gone, you wouldn't normally be able to see it. Pillar, very, very narrow blind spot right there. Of course, you can see everything out there. And let's look out those quarter windows, rear window. I mean, you can truly see outside of the SX-4. So that's pretty impressive. It was serviced at Mel Hamilton and only had 50,000 miles on it in 20. Let's turn it on and see how many miles it has on it now. Super simple gauges, 60,000 miles on the dot right there, basically. It's got a little digital MPG indicator right there. Gear indicator, you get attack, you get coolant temp, you get fuel, and you get a speedometer. Nothing else. Auto, all-wheel drive, it's on right now. So this might be a center channel, but I'm just gonna guess. There's nothing underneath there. Couple of vents, hazard switch right there. Passenger airbag on off light. The radio just says system check, which is funny because I think if you just push the button, it goes away. Yeah, look at that. Radio even works. No Rockford Fosgate. I think Rockford Fosgate was the system partner with Suzuki. Let me know. I could be wrong. But I remember the Kazashi having a good system, and if it did, it was probably Rockford. So let me know in the comments below if you know who the premium system was for Suzuki. Maybe you sold Suzukis. So it was XM ready, and it has MP3 and WMA CD compatibility right there. And of course a normal CD player and a radio, and that's it. There's nothing else to talk about here. We don't really need to go through any of the infotainment. I'll give it a lot of credit though. Aux in, it'll save your life if you're stuck with just a CD player. Single zone climate control, nothing special about it. A pocket, a 12-volt accessory outlet right there, a pocket. Cup holders that did have a nice little thing that would kind of keep most drinks centered in it, and it will hold most modern water bottles or drinks as well. Shifter, you can manually shift the transmission as well. This is a hydraulic automatic. E-brake, traction off, and of course the all-wheel drive mode is right there by the e-brake. So you can actually put it in two-wheel drive. I don't hear anything happening. No noises from the diff. These seats are like captain's chairs that have armrests, and I always like the armrests. Armrests and we really get along. Suburban, Tahoe, everything like that that has an armrest, I love those things. And I like these seats as well. They're very big. You feel like king in the castle, king in the castle. That's how you feel when you hop in this thing. Horn sound? Oh yeah, that's got a beep to it. And plasticky sun visors right there. It does have a little toll ticket, parking pass holder, mirror. That's that. Interior lights, wow, they work. They're bright and they're incandescent. Simple mirror. Hey, it does have the tilt up, tilt down for dim. Somebody doesn't have that configured right, and you're supposed to dim as backwards. The cabin lights come on with the door. It has power windows. It has a glove box, no soft open or anything like that. That's cheap open. Anyway. Ooh, red interior illumination. That's pretty cool. Let's see, windows. Not bad. Not auto up either. All right, that all checks out. Let's unlock it. Take a quick look at the back seat. The back seat has some spider webs in it to start with. It's got some spider webs, but this is a big seat. I'll give it a little more credit. A little pocket right there for for you to put something in. Probably melted crayons and Skittles are what you'd find in most of these SX4s. You get a pocket on the passenger rear seat right there, not on the driver. The door panel is as simple as they come. Not much to talk about there. It won't, like, what water bottle does that hold? Only the disposable Niagara bottle. That's the only one. Two-way speakers in the rear though. That could be a dummy grill. You don't actually know, but that's impressive if it actually has a 8-speaker system. And of course, open the hatch. Look at that, the hood struts work. The hatch struts are good. It's not falling down. All right, we got a little cover right here. That's also a cargo like tray. You can put stuff on top of that. We got something here. One of the pieces of trim off the back or something like that. Not sure what that is, but it's kind of cool. That's it. 60/40 folding rear seat. No armrest, no cup holders in the rear. You do get a light in the rear, doesn't work. And there's a jack, and again, one of these weird, oh, you can take that out. I see. Oh, there's a lantern. Came with a lantern, guys. I'm making my money back already. It's dead. I want a refund. Let's try to open this one. All right, that's kind of cool. There you go. A complete tour of the Suzuki SX4. No LEDs anywhere except for the third brake light. Yeah, tag lights are incandescent. That's it. I think we showed you everything. Does have child safety locks in the rear. Probably has latch in the rear. Actually, I'm sure it has latch in the rear. I saw the thing on the back of the seats. And now, let's start it up. Here we go, the jump pack's on it. Starts right up. But I think it's got a problem. So you can hear my absolute gem of a 2012, 2013 SX4 is running beautifully. Beautifully. But everybody's favorite sound, rod knock heaven. It's only knocking on decel, which are the obvious signs of rod knock. And as it warms up, because I have had this warmed all the way up once, the rod knock gets very intense to the point that you can hear it at idle. When it's cold and we got lots of oil pressure and that oil is super thick because it just came in out of the cold. I know, it's a spy from the Cold War era. That oil is freezing. It's literally 30 outside. I brought it in. Of course it sounds incredible right now, but its engine is not long for this world. But with that said, in the next video, we're gonna see just how well the Suzuki SX4 rallies and also how long it is for this world. It might run for a long time. I might not even be able to put it out of its misery. So I'm gonna get the battery charged, air up these tires, and we're gonna see just how long an SX4 with a very rod knocky bottom end lasts. I also think we're gonna head over to O'Reilly's and grab some like Lucas oil stabilizer, a little bit of honey butter, and you can hear it starting to tick right now as it's starting to warm up, but maybe if we can thicken up that oil, we can make this thing run for a very long time. I'd love to know just how long an engine like this is gonna run with a rod knock. But for 300 bucks, I couldn't say no. It's just a cool old car to talk about. That is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to head on over to shop.watchjargo.com for cool shirts, not like this. And please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do. And I will talk to you next time. Sad.